Did you feel a certain pressure after the obviously overwhelming success of Subtle Art, when writing Everything is Fucked, that, it perhaps would not live up to the standards that were, I mean, you set the bar incredibly high with Subtle Art.
Yeah. I mean, it's anytime. So Subtle Art is sold over 12 million copies. And I always put that into context. Like, that's like, in the publishing world, that's like Avengers level shit. And it's not, you're never going to hit that mark again. As an author, you're lucky if you hit it once in your career. So, I mean, that realization in and of itself kind of messed with my head going into the next book. And I think if that was it, if it was just me in an empty room having to kind of like sort it out myself in my brain, I think I might have been able to kind of get a handle on it. The problem is that there's so much external pressure that starts happening to you. So suddenly, the publisher has all these expectations. The contracts get much, much bigger. Your agent starts calling more often. There's all these people want to talk to you about TV shows and movies and documentaries, and this person wants to work with you and that person wants to work with you. And it becomes very, very difficult to say no, and to also not let that affect you. It's coming out of the gates with so much success with my first book. There was definitely a little bit of an imposter syndrome of like, oh shit, what if I got lucky? Like what if I actually have no idea what I'm doing and I just got really, really lucky with that first book. So it was a very stressful time.
Now, how did you deal with that in terms of the writing process, dealing with those external pressures?
It's, for me, my writing process, my creativity is always proportional to how much I'm able to just shut off the external world. And so I actually rented an office at a co-working space because even my apartment had so many distractions and, people coming by and my wife and phone calls and stuff. So like, I got away from everything. And at the end of the day, I kind of, the challenge that I settled on for myself is I realized I'm like, okay, I'm never going to sell as many copies as the last book. I'm never going to write something that people like as much as the last book. Anything I do is going to feel disappointing. So what I need to do is I need to focus on what I can control. And that is just write a better book. Just write a book that's better written, has better ideas, is more thoughtful. And if it doesn't live up, no matter what you do, it's not going to live up to the first. But the only way that's going to be okay is if you feel like it's a better book. And so that was kind of my challenge going into it, is all I had to do was write something that I thought was better. And I feel like I accomplished that, and it probably kept me sane over the last 2 years.
Now, at what point did you realize that the Subtle Art was taking off? I mean, did you realize right when it came out that there was all of this hype? I don't know exactly. I mean, you probably know, the numbers and sure, how it kind of took off, but did it kind of go quickly, or was it a slow, gradual process and then it quickly took off? How'd that process go?
It took a while. It came out September 2016.
So you were 32 at the time, correct?
Yeah, I was 32.
Okay.
It debuted at number 6 on the New York Times list, which that was the goal, going into the launch, was like, just hit the New York Times list and everybody's going to be happy. Did that, fell off a few weeks later. And it sold okay for a few months. And then it was around November, December, that actually the audiobook started to take off on Audible. Amazon picked it as I think its favorite nonfiction book for that year. And then its algorithm, I guess the reviews or whatever, the algorithm started recommending it to people, and the audiobook just started going crazy. And by like February, March 2017, the hardcover came back and started just selling a bajillion copies. And it didn't look back. after that.
I think I even read a statistic. So yeah, over 12 million copies sold. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's spent, as of May 2020, 179 weeks in the top 10, which is insane.
Yeah.
Do you ever, I mean,
3.5 years.
have you had a chance yet to kind of take a moment, reflect? And, you know, because what I love about it is some of the moments that you talk about, those initial struggles post-college. And for me, you know, having you gone to BU, knowing kind of, you know, where you lived, you know, because that's where I am for most of the time.
Sure.
Do you ever have, you know, those moments where you can sit back, enjoy exactly where you come from and that struggle that you went through? I mean, you know, as everyone does. I mean, you in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, there were plenty of moments of gratitude and appreciation and stuff. I mean, the interesting thing about a book that's kind of, or about being an author, it's a little bit different than, say, like being a musician or a movie star or whatever. You know, if you're a musician, you go to the arena, you play to the huge crowds, you know, fans are screaming in your face. If you're, you know, you have a hit television show, you know, every time you walk outside your apartment, people are looking at you on the street, running up to you, asking for autographs. If you're an author that hits it big, your life is exactly the same as it was before. It's the only thing that changes.
Way more emails.
Yeah, way more emails. But the only thing that like materially changes is that every 6 months a gigantic check shows up in your bank account, and you're like, okay, that, like, where did that come from? Nobody recognizes you. Nobody, like, your life, your day-to-day life is pretty much unchanged. So it's nice in a way because you can kind of just there was. Well, I should say the other difference too, sorry to go back a little bit, is that books tend to have like a longevity to them, you know? So if a hit movie comes out, it's huge for a month or two and then it's over. Or an album, it's huge for 6 months and then you tour and then it's over. The book, it can go on for years. So it's like a very low level, slow celebration over a long period of time.
Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like this video and hit that subscribe button, and also follow me on Instagram at felix.levine to stay updated on all new content as it comes out.